Most people believe that our planet has already been mapped, explored, and explained. After all, we have satellites orbiting the Earth, cameras in the deepest oceans, and scientists studying every corner of the globe. So surely there can't be any places left that truly defy explanation, right? Well, not exactly, because scattered across our planet are locations that seem to break the rules. Some of these mysteries have scientific explanations, others still leave experts scratching their heads, and all of them share one thing in common. When people first encounter them, the reaction is usually the same. Something isn't right here. Let's take a look at 7 of the strangest places on Earth. 1. The Devil's Kettle, Minnesota, USA. Deep inside Judge C.R. Magny State Park in Minnesota lies a waterfall, unlike any other on Earth. At first glance, it seems completely normal. The Brule River rushes through the forest before reaching a rocky cliff. But then something extraordinary happens. The river splits into 2 separate streams. One side continues flowing downstream exactly as you would expect. The other side plunges into a giant hole in the rock known as the Devil's Kettle, and then it disappears completely. For decades, nobody knew where the water went. Scientists tried almost everything imaginable. They poured environmentally safe dyes into the water. Nothing appeared downstream. They released ping pong balls into the hole. Not a single one was ever recovered. Some visitors became convinced that the water flowed into a massive underground cave system, stretching for hundreds of miles. Others believed the phenomenon was proof of hidden tunnels beneath the earth. The mystery became so famous that people traveled from around the world just to see it for themselves. Standing beside the waterfall is a strange experience. You can literally watch thousands of gallons of water vanish before your eyes. Eventually, researchers concluded that the missing water most likely rejoins the river through hidden underground channels beneath the rock formations. But even today, when you stand there and watch an entire river disappear into darkness, it feels as though nature is performing a magic trick, and that's only the beginning. 2. Blood Falls. Antarctica is already one of the most hostile places on Earth. Temperatures can drop to levels that would kill a person within minutes. The landscape is almost entirely covered in ice, and yet, hidden within this frozen wilderness is something that looks deeply unsettling, a glacier that appears to bleed. The phenomenon is known as blood falls. Imagine standing in a world of pure white ice and snow, then suddenly seeing a bright red waterfall pouring down the side of a glacier. The sight is so shocking that early explorers could hardly believe what they were seeing. Many assumed the red color was caused by algae. Others suspected unknown microorganisms. Some even wondered whether there was volcanic activity beneath the glacier. The truth turned out to be equally fascinating. Deep below the ice lies an ancient reservoir of salt water that has been trapped for millions of years. The water contains enormous amounts of dissolved iron. When it finally reaches the surface, it comes into contact with oxygen. The result is similar to rust forming on metal. The water instantly turns a deep, blood red color. But that isn't the only strange part. Scientists discovered that the hidden water system beneath the glacier contains microbial life that has survived in complete darkness for countless generations. These organisms have adapted to conditions that seem almost impossible for life. For researchers studying how life might exist on other planets, Blood Falls has become one of the most valuable natural laboratories on Earth. Yet despite all the scientific explanations, seeing a glacier apparently bleeding across the Antarctic ice remains one of the most disturbing sights in nature. 3. The Door to Hell, Turkmenistan. If there is one place on Earth that genuinely looks like an entrance to another world, this might be it. In the middle of the Karakum Desert lies a giant crater filled entirely with fire. Locals call it the Door to Hell. The crater is roughly 70 meters wide and glows with intense orange flames 24 hours a day. The story began in 1971. Soviet engineers were searching for natural gas reserves when disaster struck. The ground beneath their drilling equipment suddenly collapsed. An enormous underground cavern had given way, creating a massive crater. Soon, dangerous methane gas began escaping into the atmosphere. Fearing environmental damage, engineers made what seemed like a simple decision. They would ignite the gas. The fire would burn for a few days. Then it would go out. At least that was the plan. More than 50 years later, the flames are still burning, day and night, summer and winter, without stopping. Visitors often describe the experience as surreal. During daylight hours, the crater looks impressive, but after sunset, it becomes something entirely different. The flames illuminate the surrounding desert while waves of heat rise from the depths. The roar of burning gas echoes through the darkness. Many people compare it to scenes from fantasy movies. Others say it feels like standing beside a portal to another dimension. Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain. Nobody expected this fire to become one of the longest burning man-made disasters in history. 4. Lake Natron, Tanzania. At first glance, Lake Natron looks beautiful. The water often appears bright red, orange, or pink depending on the season. The surrounding landscape resembles something from an alien planet, but beneath that beauty lies one of the most hostile environments on Earth. Lake Natron contains extremely high concentrations of minerals and salt. Temperatures can exceed 40 degrees Celsius. The water is so alkaline that its pH level rivals some industrial cleaning chemicals. For many animals, contact with the lake can be fatal. Over the years, photographers have discovered birds and other creatures preserved along the shoreline, covered by mineral deposits. They appear almost like stone statues. Images of these eerie remains spread across the internet and quickly gave the lake a terrifying reputation. Some people even claim the water literally turned animals into stone. The reality is slightly less dramatic. Animals that die near the lake can become coated with minerals over time, creating an almost perfectly preserved appearance. But the lake still presents a fascinating contradiction. While many species struggle to survive, millions of lesser flamingos thrive. In fact, Lake Natron is one of the most important breeding grounds for flamingos anywhere in the world. Predators avoid the harsh environment, giving the birds a rare, safe haven. It is one of nature's strangest examples of balance, a place deadly for some forms of life, yet essential for others. 5. The Zone of Silence, Mexico. In the deserts of northern Mexico lies a place surrounded by rumors, legends, and unanswered questions. It is known as the Zone of Silence. The name alone sounds mysterious, and the stories surrounding it are even stranger. Visitors have long reported unusual problems with communication equipment. Radio signals sometimes become unreliable. Compasses occasionally behave strangely. Some travelers claim GPS devices lose accuracy for no obvious reason. The area gained international attention after an American missile accidentally crashed there during a military test in the 1970s. Following the incident, rumors began spreading rapidly. People spoke of strange lights appearing in the sky. Others reported encounters with mysterious figures wandering the desert. Some even suggested the region possessed unusual magnetic properties. Scientists have studied the area and proposed several explanations involving local geology and mineral deposits. However, no single explanation has managed to eliminate all the myths. Part of the mystery comes from the environment itself. The desert is isolated, vast, and incredibly quiet. When the sun sets and darkness takes over, it becomes easy to understand how legends are born. Whether the strange stories are caused by science, imagination, or something else entirely remains a topic of debate. But if you ever find yourself alone in the Zone of Silence, you might start questioning what is real too. 6. Hessdalen Valley. Norway high in the mountains of Norway lies one of the most famous unsolved light phenomena in the world. For decades, the lights appear without warning. Sometimes they hover motionless. Sometimes they move at incredible speeds. Sometimes they vanish completely. Witnesses describe white lights, yellow lights, and even bright blue or red spheres floating above the valley. The reports became so frequent during the 1980s that scientists launched dedicated investigations. Researchers installed cameras and monitoring equipment. They hoped to finally solve the mystery, and surprisingly, they succeeded in capturing the lights. The phenomenon was real. The cameras recorded glowing objects moving through the valley, yet explaining them proved much more difficult. Some scientists believe naturally occurring gases may become ionized and produce light. Others suggest unusual geological activity beneath the valley. A few theories involve atmospheric plasma, but none of these explanations fully account for every observation. Even today, Hessdalen remains one of the few places in the world where unexplained lights are regularly documented by both witnesses and scientific instruments. That combination makes the mystery especially compelling, because unlike many legends, this one has actually been recorded on camera. 7. The Sailing Stones, Death Valley, USA. For many years, one mystery in California's Death Valley seemed almost impossible. Massive rocks appeared to move across the desert entirely on their own. Some of these stones weighed hundreds of kilograms, yet behind them stretched long tracks etched into the dry lakebed. The evidence was undeniable. The rocks had moved. The problem was that nobody had ever seen them do it. Scientists visited the area repeatedly. Photographers waited for days. Researchers set up equipment. Still, the movement remained a mystery. Alien theories quickly appeared. Others blamed magnetic forces. Some suggested underground vibrations. The truth finally emerged after years of observation. During rare winter conditions, a thin layer of water covers the desert floor. At night, that water freezes into delicate sheets of ice. When the morning sun begins melting the ice, gentle winds push the floating panels across the surface. The ice slowly nudges the rocks forward. The movement is incredibly slow, so slow that it can easily go unnoticed. Yet over time, the stones leave long trails behind them. The explanation solved the mystery, but it did not make the sight any less remarkable. Standing in the middle of the desert and seeing rocks that have apparently walked across the landscape still feels impossible, as if the Earth itself came alive for a moment. Our planet is full of places that challenge our understanding of reality. Some mysteries eventually find scientific explanations, others remain unresolved, but all of them remind us of something important. No matter how advanced our technology becomes, there are still corners of the world capable of surprising us. Places where nature behaves in ways that seem impossible. Places where even experts are forced to admit they don't have all the answers. And maybe that's what makes them so fascinating. Which of these places would you most like to visit? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoy mysteries, strange discoveries, and unbelievable places from around the world, make sure to subscribe for more videos just like this one.